Hello, fellow explorers. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more wild journeys across our universe. Last time, we explored what life could look like on the scorching planet of Mercury. But today, we're shifting gears and heading to the gas giant Jupiter. So buckle up because this is going to be a deep dive into what life might hypothetically be like on this colossal world. Jupiter, the king of the planets. It's the largest planet in our solar system, so big that it could fit all of the other planets inside of it and still have room to spare. It's located about 484 million miles away from Earth, which means it's 5 times farther from the Sun than we are. But here's the thing, Jupiter isn't like Earth at all. In fact, it's mostly made of gas. Its atmosphere is composed mainly of hydrogen and helium, with traces of methane, ammonia, and other gases. And then there's the radiation. It's intense, way more than any human could handle. Jupiter's magnetic field traps charged particles, making the planet's radiation environment one of the most hostile places we know. And then there's that famous Great Red Spot. It's actually a giant storm bigger than Earth itself that's been raging for hundreds of years. So with all of this hostile atmosphere and the fact that there's no solid surface to stand on, life on Jupiter, at least life as we know it, is pretty much impossible right now. But what if? What if, somehow, life had found a way to adapt? What if creatures had evolved in the dense clouds of Jupiter? Let's take a journey into this hypothetical world, imagining what alien life might look like if it could survive the brutal environment of Jupiter. First, let's think about what life on Jupiter would need to do to survive. We're talking about creatures that could float or swim through the thick, dense gases of the planet's upper atmosphere, because below that, pressure becomes too intense for anything to survive. Let's create a few unique species that could thrive in this extreme environment. Meet Zephyra gasifera. Zephyra gasifera is a massive, jellyfish-like organism, adapted to float and navigate the upper layers of Jupiter's atmosphere. Its body is primarily composed of lightweight, gas-filled chambers, making it buoyant in the dense, stormy clouds. The organism's sail is made of a thin, flexible membrane, stretching out for hundreds of feet to catch the strong wind currents of Jupiter. This sail, similar to the bell of a jellyfish, allows it to move gracefully through the planet's turbulent atmosphere. Its body is bioluminescent, glowing in hues of blue and green, which serves both as a method of communication and a potential lure for smaller creatures. Zephyra feeds on the microscopic gas particles, such as methane and hydrogen, that are abundant in Jupiter's upper atmosphere. It absorbs these gases through specialized cilia-covered tendrils that extend from its underbelly. These tendrils are capable of filtering and absorbing the gases into their body, much like the filter-feeding method seen in Earth's oceanic jellyfish. Zephyra reproduces by releasing gas-filled spores into the atmosphere. These spores drift freely until they settle in stable atmospheric regions with ample gas for nourishment. The spores eventually grow into juvenile Zephyra, which slowly expand their sail membranes as they mature. Despite their size, Zephyra are passive creatures. Their only defense mechanism is the ability to emit an electric charge when threatened, created by the interaction of charged particles in their body. The electric discharge deters predators like Vorae radiotica and can even incapacitate smaller threats. Zephyra often have small Pluma flotilis flocks following them, benefiting from the larger creature's protective abilities. The Pluma feed on the same gases, but don't pose a threat to Zephyra, making them compatible companions. Next up, we have Vorae radiotica. Vorae radiotica is a sleek, predatory organism designed for speed and precision. It has a streamlined eel-like body, approximately 20 feet in length, with a long, needle-like mouth adapted for puncturing and draining gas-filled organisms such as Zephyra. Its skin contains specialized radiation-absorbing cells called radiocysts, which allow it to convert the planet's intense radiation into usable energy, powering its fast movements and sharp bursts of speed. Their coloration is dark, often with subtle glowing patterns that pulse across their skin, believed to be part of their communication system and mating displays. Vorae primarily feed on large floating creatures like Zephyra. They hunt in coordinated packs, relying on their speed and agility to overpower much larger prey. The creature's needle-like mouth is lined with micropores that allow it to siphon off the gases trapped in its prey's bodies, slowly deflating them until they are no longer buoyant. Vorae are social predators, often hunting in coordinated packs of 3 to 5 individuals. They communicate through bursts of light along their bodies, sending signals that allow them to synchronize their movements when attacking large prey. Pack hierarchies are established through ritualized combat and light displays, with the most powerful individuals taking leadership roles during hunts. The species reproduces through a form of external fertilization. During mating season, packs of Vorae release eggs and sperm into the gaseous clouds, where fertilization occurs. The fertilized eggs then float freely until they hatch. Juvenile Vorae grow quickly, needing to develop hunting skills within weeks to survive in the competitive atmosphere. Their ability to harness Jupiter's radiation gives them an advantage over other predators and prey, as they do not rely solely on traditional biological energy sources. While generally solitary outside of hunting, Vorae form tight bonds within their packs, and they rarely stray far from one another. The bioluminescent patterns on their skin also help them avoid getting lost in Jupiter's massive, constantly shifting storms. And finally, we have Pluma flotilis. Pluma flotilis are small, avian-like creatures, each roughly the size of a pigeon, but instead of feathers, they have thin, membranous wings filled with gas-filled sacs. These sacs allow them to stay afloat in Jupiter's atmosphere. Their bodies are lightweight, with hollow bones to further aid buoyancy, while their wings are adapted to catch the tiniest atmospheric currents. Pluma feed primarily on gas particles, much like Zephyra. However, they are much smaller, so they rely on rapid movement and the dense atmosphere to find food. They often follow Zephyra and other larger creatures, capitalizing on the wake of turbulence created by these giants, which stirs up more food. Highly social creatures, Pluma live in flocks ranging from 20 to 100 individuals. They have developed intricate aerial maneuvers to avoid predators like Vorae, moving in synchronized swarms to confuse their attackers. Flocks also maintain strict hierarchies, with certain dominant individuals leading group movements and directing feeding patterns. Pluma reproduce by laying gas-filled eggs that float through the atmosphere until they hatch. The eggs are buoyant and designed to stay in the optimal layer of Jupiter's atmosphere for development, drifting in stable currents until the young are ready to emerge. The small size of Pluma flotilis makes them highly agile, allowing them to navigate through the turbulent layers of Jupiter's atmosphere that might crush larger creatures. They have developed a symbiotic relationship with Zephyra, following in their wake to gather food and benefiting from the larger creature's protection against predators like Vorae. In exchange, they provide a kind of early warning system for the Zephyra. Their frantic movements signal when predators are near. In this hypothetical ecosystem, each species plays a crucial role in maintaining balance. Zephyra gasifera is the foundational species, providing both food and protection for smaller creatures like Pluma flotilis. Their electric discharges and size make them a target for Vorae, but also serve as a shelter for others. Vorae radiotica is the apex predator, maintaining population control by preying on the gas-filled Zephyra. They play a key role in preventing overpopulation and resource depletion. Their hunting packs ensure the survival of the fittest Zephyra and keep the population in check. And Pluma flotilis is the scavengers and opportunists of the ecosystem. They rely on both Zephyra and Vorae for survival, feeding on the gas clouds stirred up by the movements of their larger neighbors. In turn, their flocking behavior offers indirect protection to Zephyra, and their rapid reproduction keeps their population stable despite predation. Together, these creatures form a thriving ecosystem, adapting to one of the most extreme environments imaginable. Their complex relationships, predation, symbiosis, and resource sharing ensure that the balance of life on Jupiter is sustained, however precariously. There you have it, an imaginative glimpse into what life on Jupiter could look like. Of course, this is all hypothetical, but thinking about how life could adapt to such extreme environments gives us a new perspective on the possibilities out there in the universe. In our next video, we're going to continue our journey through the solar system. Who knows what we'll discover on Saturn or beyond? So make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on the next adventure. Until then, keep looking up and stay curious.